Hello everyone and welcome back to another, we would call it a rider check-in, however we are with today the Nestaan Husqvarna Factory Racing team manager Rasmus Jørgensen. First and foremost, Rasmus, how are we doing?
Not so bad. Arrived here last night, it's beautiful like always, the weather's great, and we're looking forward for hopefully another good weekend for the team. And then also looking forward to the break. It's coming at a good time for us.
I think that break, like you just touched on there, is going to be vital for both Liam and Kai, but we want to go around and talk about how successful they've been despite the injury. So we start with Kai. Did you expect him to be on the box with all things considered so early on in the season?
Honestly, it was a bit of a, you have a really great winter and then you had that injury, so it kind of puts a stop to any expectations, plans or whatever. So you kind of, first you need to heal from the injury and then you need to see, okay, when can we get back on the bike? And, everything went really fast. Kai, team, everybody made a really good plan to speed up the recovery, and I think it was pretty remarkable how fast he was back racing in Spain. Obviously, we knew that it was going to be challenging in Spain, but we wanted to just get him racing, and we kind of looked at the calendar. We're like, Riola could be a good possibility to be closer to his level, let's say. And doing what he did in Riola, especially that second race was pretty remarkable, crashing in the second corner and then still finishing on the podium, which was, for us the first MXGP podium as a team. So it was a great milestone. But when that's said, he's putting in the work. He's not 100% yet, but this break will definitely, hopefully, really improve that side of things, and we're going to have some national races to keep the intensity and build for the rest of the season.
Although it's obviously not ideal heading into a season and missing the opening round with a little injury, being a rookie with how stacked this class is this year, does moving them expectations a little bit almost help Kai, because we know the calibre of rider he is, but getting adapted to the 450 in this class is no easy feat. So is there some small positives you can take from it?
Of course, I mean the pressure of things goes off a bit, but in the end of the day, the riders, they're putting the pressure on themselves.
Yeah.
And I think Guy knows what he's capable of, we know what he's capable of, and any day I would choose to come in healthy to the season and do the whole thing with him, obviously. But with that being said, being injured, missing the first round and coming back not fully ready as a rider, sometimes it can take some pressure away, and he could ease his way into it. But when it all comes down to it, you're behind the gate, the paper sheet doesn't lie, it doesn't say that Kai is not healthy, so I think you can always find some positives if you're really looking for them, but we just have to tackle every situation that we are in and try and get the best out of it. And I really believe that's what we've done. 7th in Spain, which was really good. Just missed the podium, had the same points as third in Switzerland, hard pack, and then going to Riola where he really had to dig deep, but made it happen, So it's been steady getting better, and I just really hope to keep that, to improve the starts a bit, and get the experience of running up front here in Arco as well. And then, like I said, we have that break to really buckle down and try to improve and be ready for the which will be a really hectic last part of the season. So it's exciting. It's really good for the team to be in that class finally and be competitive. I really enjoy it.
Overall, how would you say Kai's adapted to the 450 and learned it? Is he someone that's quite sensitive on a bike? Is he someone that needs to have the bike perfect, or is he quite easy? Being a younger rider, it might play into his favour as well. And of course, having you in his corner, someone he trusts, you've worked with him for years now. So have you seen it being a sort of an easy transition onto the bigger bike? And obviously his size alone, it should, ideally with his bike skill, suit it once it's all ironed out and we're back to maybe a fair slate.
Yeah. I think that some people will struggle more with the transition for sure. Like you said, Kai is a taller guy, a bigger guy, super skilled on a motorcycle. So that has made the transition easier. He's already done a few races on the 450 before. We know the bike is within a decent window. But I think anybody that moves into the MXGP class needs to go through some kind of learning process in terms of how gnarly the class is. You can go and you can race Falconswart after the season and you can fight with Jeffrey. but having to be there every single weekend, fighting with not only Jeffrey but all the guys, it is a crazy class, you know, and you need to go through that process. Same thing with setting up the bike. You can feel amazing during the winter, but once you go racing on the GP circuits that are developing different, there's a lot of learning to do for the rider, for the team, everybody, and we're going through that process, you know, and we're supporting him. We're communicating about where we can be better, whether that's him, whether that's the bike, and I feel like that's the way to go forward and really learn this class. And I'm really happy with the level we are at, but there's always room for improvement.
And now Liam, he has also had his fair share of struggles this year. Seems like there's always just a slight rain cloud over him, and it's never really down to him solely, but he is digging deep. He's got back-to-back podiums. I know it's early in the season and points are a little bit irrelevant, but he's still within it. He still has his name in the hat and is still in for contention, and he's been quite open and honest with me in interviews saying it's probably around 40%. He's not riding throughout the week. So how proud are you for Liam for digging deep? Because you know, it's easy to give up and it's easy to sort of feel sorry for yourself in that way.
Yeah, no, I'm super proud of Liam, what he's doing. You know, it's honestly been a weird start of the season. You know, with the whole picture with the injuries. So I'm just super proud of everyone, to be honest, to be able to you know, be so competitive in the weekends with what we have to go through during the week. You know, it's not a secret. Liam is struggling with an injury, and he has been on the bike once since Argentina during the week. And just to have a plan around that with the rehab and just go from race to race is a super hard thing to do. And we have back-to-back podiums now, and we are trying to keep the dream alive. And it will be the same thing this weekend. He's coming straight in. He hasn't been on the bike, and we're trying to get the maximum out of it. And again, the break will hopefully really make that last push to be healthy. You know, that we can go into a normality of the daily grind of riding without pain and just do good work, you know, during the week. So hats off to what he's going through at the moment and how he's really mentally switching that mindset to just go through it and be in a lot of pain, but still keeping the dream alive. And that's it's hard to be in, but it's cool to see also. You know, these athletes it's no joke. It's so tough what they have to do, and nobody knows.
And then obviously the team dynamics change this year, going back up to the MXGP class. Does that make life a little bit easier as a team manager? Because you don't have to go to Kai on the second pick and talk to him about lines, and then also go down to Liam, and because you both want them to win. So now does it make it a little bit easier? There's a clear goal or objective in both classes.
Yeah, clearly the dynamic is better. You know, having two top guys in one class, you know, we've had that for the last couple of years. It's hard to manage that. I think we managed it super well, you know, in terms of giving them the same attention and really trying to be there all the time. But for sure the dynamic is easier, you know. You also feel that between the riders they actually want to help each other, you know. So that's pretty cool that, you know, Liam will race first and you come and see Kai and they can talk about it, and you generally feel that they actually want the best for each other, you know, on track. On the team side, I mean, we're going racing now. We're spending a little bit more time out on the field. When you have only MX2, you're all coming back to the truck. Now you have the overlap of the races a bit, and it's just a matter of structuring that. You know, who's going back. You know, we need always somebody here to support Liam when we're out. You know, and but in general, the dynamic I would say is better, and I enjoy this. You know, having one top guy in each class is pretty cool.
And both boys, obviously, you touched on that they're quite, well, you said about Liam being switched on. I'd also say Kai's quite mature in terms of how he conducts himself. He's, you know, achieved the World Championship. He's done it all in the MX2 class. So are they quite easy, both easy to work with, or do you have to change your role a little bit depending on who you're talking to?
I think in my position you always have to. It doesn't matter if it's the riders or if it's the mechanics. You know, you have an international team where there's a lot of people coming from different cultures, different nations, and different personalities. I think in my position you always have to, you know, adapt a bit to the person you are talking to. Kai and Liam are very, very different. You know, they are really like the North Pole and the South Pole. For sure, when I have Liam alone or I have Kai alone, yeah, I will maybe be a little bit different, you know, or approach them different. I think this is normal. But you know, it's something that everybody in the paddock, because it's super international, you know, and everybody will have this a bit. But no big deal.
Is that the most important aspect of your role, is learning how to get the best out of everyone? Is that what you would say you've learned over the years of being team manager, and each year I'm sure you learn new things, even working with the same riders?
Yeah, it's trying to manage people is not always easy, and you know, making the right calls. But I would say the main part of my job is really to have good people, you know, and I really do have good people, you know, from the technical side to the coaching side to the mechanical side. I can really rely on the people in the team. Everybody knows what to do, and I feel like that's when a team is really performing well. Also, we've had our fair share of bad luck, you know, in the years, and I measure that a lot when things are not going to satisfaction, when the results are not really how they should be or to the full potential of the team. But the spirit is still high within the team. That's a good measurement for having, you know, a solid team that really works well together and works hard together, and that you're not bringing negativity from the track to affect the atmosphere of the team. And that I think we have managed pretty well, you know, over the years. But obviously we want to win, and we have done a lot of it in the past few years, and you get easily quite used to that. So hopefully we can heal up and be even more competitive when we return to racing.
And last one, with the 6-week break after this weekend, touch on Kyle will have some international races. Is it full focus on Liam to just get the ankle sorted and get it to 100%, or is there anything in plan that you can say, or is it just sort of see how it is after this weekend and go from there?
Well, you know, there's no big secrets about it. We have 5 weeks now, and we need to evaluate the situation with the injury together with the doctors and the physios and see what's the best plan for Liam. Without a doubt, he's going to need to take some time after this race still off the bike. But the target is definitely to be able to return training before we go back to La Capelle. That's the target, and I think it's doable. It's been tough, but hopefully we get through this weekend and still keeping the driving dream alive a bit, and then make the best possible plan for him to recover well. And hopefully we are in La Capelle, I see you guys, and I'm like, look, we're healthy. and everything is running smoothly. But in this sport you never know, and we need to try and stay on top of it. And you know, I know for a fact that it's not only here we have, you know, we are dealing with stuff.
There's other ones.
There's other ones, and this is a part of the sport. It's you know, it's close to 60 gate drops where you need to stay healthy in this series, and then you add all the training and that stuff. So it's just it's an gnarly sport.
So overall, all things consideed, we're pretty happy with the start of 2026.
For sure. Can always be better, but it could definitely also be worse. So, super happy with the team, with the riders, and just keep plugging away.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Thank you everyone for listening to this quick interview with Rasmus regarding the start for the Nestaan Husqvarna boys in 2026. We'll see how this weekend goes, and hopefully we see a closer to 100% Liam and Kai in La Capelle. Nice one. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bosh.